Welcome back. And now we're going to be looking at healthcare affordability and how it's affecting Nigerians, looking at dependency of Nigerians on internet for medical advice and prescription due to high medical bills. And with us in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Bill-Ahubalueze Obidigbo. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, so now we're looking at a situation where Nigerians pay, quite high prices for treatments, hospital cards, consultations, and the likes. Now, to what extent has the cost of, basic healthcare services made Nigerians to move out of the formal healthcare system?
All right. I think that's the challenge of poverty. But basically, or primarily, it's not really poverty. It's ignorance. It's ignorance. Because at the end, you will discover that you are spending more to get the wrong diagnosis, the wrong treatment. So what happens? In the long run, you spend more money. Generally, people think that why a lot of majority of the population, is it really majority? Some, have resorted to, like, you go to Facebook, you see people ask questions, hey, I have this, I have that, what medicine do I take? And you are asking the wrong people. It doesn't really make sense. And, one thing about medicine is, it's not just, I'm having headache. Headache is not a sickness per se. It's a symptom of something. Right, so because you're having headache and some other person had the headache yesterday and took a particular drug and it got well, doesn't mean that you take the same thing and you recover. It doesn't mean that. So it's actually an abnormality, but it tells us that something is really happening, because if people don't have access to the internet, they wouldn't do that. Right, so we as a nation has to start looking at what telemedicine is. So we need to develop a comprehensive guideline and framework and policy on telemedicine. Telemedicine is recognized globally, but currently in Nigeria, we don't really have a single document that would, that is out there to regulate telemedicine. Right. I personally, it's possible that we may have some companies in this country that actually have deployed the technology, telemedicine, and they are offering the services, but I'm not aware. But it's possible because Nigeria is quite a huge nation. So there is absolutely, we wouldn't say it is wrong to seek healthcare through the internet. But the way it is done currently is actually absolutely wrong.
But don't you think that the situation in the country, just like I mentioned earlier, the exorbitant prices of getting healthcare in the hospitals is affecting and contributing to the reason why people are resorting to this telemedicine?
Like I said, it's perception. Let me share some experience with you. True life experiences, life stories. You may even have encountered such. Somebody is sick, he doesn't want to go to hospital. He tells you, hospital is expensive. And you ask the person, have you gone to government hospitals? He says, no, I don't want to go to government hospitals. I don't want to call names. But like here in Enugu, we have federal government hospitals, we have state government hospitals. We also have some primary health cares like health facility, community health centers. They are all there. But a lot of people think, it's just like I said, perception. They think that federal institutions are expensive with respect to, healthcare. They are not, comparatively to private healthcare. I've seen people, I've actually directed, I asked the person, not one, not two, a lot of them, have you gone to federal institution, federal health institution? He said no. I said, why? He said it's expensive. I said it's not true. It's not, I know. Because I had part of my training there. So it's not expensive. But it's just perception. But primarily, why some people, including myself, find it difficult to go to some federal health institution is, I had an experience recently with my mom. And we went there around 8 o'clock in the morning. My mom couldn't see the doctor until around 4 p.m. Exactly. So we left that place around 5. Now, the problem is not that it's expensive. It's actually very affordable. I can tell you that. But the problem is there is this lackadaisical attitude of healthcare workers. And I felt so bad. By the time we are coming, many staff in that institution have not arrived. I'm telling you the truth. By the time they started seeing patients, it was around 9:10. And as at 11:12, some doctors have not shown up. I'm telling you what happened. Now, that day I didn't go to work. So I spent the whole day in a place. And at the end, I would have used my contact connection to make calls so that my mom would be attended. But I felt, no, let's just do things the right way. Unfortunately, I wasn't happy. Around 4 o'clock, I have to flare up. I'm telling you, I got mad. You know, that's what Nigerians want. We don't like gentlemen. We like madness. I got mad and I started shouting, talking. Every attention was on me. And then it's like I woke up the dead. So people started, you know, oh, no problem. We'll make sure we are, because already I've heard they say, some people have to go, they have to come back again. Immediately, they started, okay, we'll attend to everybody, just wait, we'll be fast. You know, that's Nigerian for you. So these are some of the factors, not necessarily that it's expensive. I'm not saying it's affordable per se, because you have to, affordability is relative. Now, a situation where you are in a country where more than, these statistics, more than 75 million people are extremely poor. 75? That's more than the population of some countries in Africa. They are extremely poor. What it means is that they cannot earn up to $1 per day. Now, in such a situation, one would say that healthcare is very expensive. You see, I'm saying it in relative to something. Do you understand?
Yeah, so now looking at it now, it's not just a situation of the prices or the high cost of getting healthcare, but also the healthcare system itself and the lackadaisical attitude of healthcare workers.
Yes, most people who can afford, you know, healthcare don't go to government hospitals, I can tell you that, for sure. That's why private hospitals are thriving. Unfortunately, those people who cannot, you know, who I would categorize as poor, don't also know that they can access healthcare in federal government hospital or state hospitals. I'm telling you what I know. Some people will resort to going to chemists. At the end, how much would they spend?
But you know that in as much as federal hospitals are relatively cheap, like you said, you just gave an example of how you stayed in the hospital till about 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Now, assuming you had gone home that day, you come back the next day, you still pay to see the doctor. Now, you know, a lot of people are in that cycle where they come and they go and they're still not able to see the doctor. And at the end of the day, they are paying twice the amount they would have paid if they had gone to a private hospital.
No, it doesn't work like that. Now, whatever that happened that day, I wouldn't say it keeps happening, but it happens. But it's not like it happens every time, but it happens. That's the truth. But the truth of the matter is that that's not really the major reason why majority of people resort to, you know, asking for prescription or, you know, on the internet. That's not really the main reason. The main reason is perception. They feel that, look, it's expensive. But like I said, people go to chemist, all right? You are sick. The first thing is you go to chemist. The question is, how much will you spend? At the end, the person is spending more. Remember, he feels that going to hospital, all right, let me give you another example, because as I remember some kind of true life stories. Somebody was sick, and when we are having conversation, I wanted to find out if she has gone to hospital. She has not gone to hospital. That's why. She doesn't have money. All right. Now, and like everybody believes, everybody in Nigeria says nobody has money in this country. So at the end, I asked her, have you gone to a health center in Enugu here? He said no. He doesn't even know there is a health center in Enugu. Right, so I said, go to this place. It's affordable. You may even get free consultation. And at the end, she did. She went. And she virtually spent nothing she spent virtually nothing for consultation. Do you understand? Now, you are getting quality healthcare because you're meeting the right people, okay? And at the end, you are getting quality healthcare at a minimal cost. But before, you thought it's not possible. So ignorance, like I say, ignorance is the number one thing. Ignorance is the number one thing.
So which demographic groups are those who are most affected by this ignorance and, you know, go on to shift from actually going to the hospital to using online prescription?
All right. Most people, one would assume people in rural area, number one, people in rural area, they are mostly hit. I can tell you that for sure. Sure, something happened yesterday. A friend of mine, he's a medical personnel, he got a message from the auntie in the village, quite near here in Enugu, and he went there. But the problem was that some group of people called themselves health workers, went to their village for medical outreach. But when he got the message, he discovered that these guys are quacks. Those guys don't have even the basic training, the minimal training to attend to people. They just went there to sell their so-called drugs. And, you know, when people hear, free medical consultation, everybody in the village will go. And when I saw the poster, oh my God, you know, we have to use religion also to make it look real. The poster of so-called Jesus Christ, the picture is there. To convince the villagers that, look, these are genuine people. But when you see it, you know that these guys are extorting people in the village. Now, these villagers, they will tell you that they don't have money to go to hospital. But when these quacks come, money comes out, and they buy the wrong thing, take it, keep themselves in bad health. In short, their health even deteriorates. Do you understand? So that is one, people in the rural area. But now let's look at people in the urban area. People in, let me say, the city of Enugu. There are a lot of people. Like I said, perception. So we need to create a kind of a lot of awareness. People should know that, you know, I don't want to, I am tempted to just give a blanket opinion that healthcare is expensive. I don't want to do that. Because practically, looking at what people spend doing the wrong thing, you may not really spend that doing the right thing. I'm telling you, that's the reality. But it really means that the government has to do a lot on our healthcare system. So I'm not here to praise the healthcare system. No, our healthcare system is very poor. I'm being honest with you. If it is not poor, the politicians will be going overseas. Let's start from them. Do you understand? If it's not poor, the politicians will not be going overseas. But we see a lot of money we spend in medical tourism. A lot of money. Because our healthcare system is poor. But even at that, we have good professionals. Healthcare, we have almost the best in the world. I can tell you that. I want to share another story, true life story. It's a friend of mine, a quite senior colleague. She was handling some patients, a patient in particular. And at the time, the patient feels that this doctor is not giving him what he really needs. So he decided to go to United States for better, healthcare. So the doctor advised him that there may not be need for that, but he felt he needed to do that. So he went to US with his medical history, So when he went there, they would start from the beginning, look at the medical history, send for some very important investigations, right? When the results came out, so the doctor wrote something. The doctor told him, take this letter, go back to your doctor in Nigeria, and he will tell you what to do next. So when he came back, the doctor opened it. You know what they wrote there? Tell your patient that he should stay in Nigeria, that doctors in Nigeria are doing a good job. Simple. That you should just follow. This is a true life story. The person I'm talking about lives here in Enugu. She's a consultant. She's trained in Enugu. She's trained in US. She's also trained in the UK. Now, so imagine the money spent traveling to US, coming back to what you felt was not good. That is one. Let me share a story I heard yesterday from a day before yesterday from a chief medical, sort of a commissioner of education. I won't mention the state. The same thing, the patient traveled to US, believing that Nigerians are not giving him what he wanted. So when he went to US, he met his doctor, and after every other thing, you know what happened? The doctor also wrote something down. a letter, and gave it and say, go back to Nigeria, give it to your doctor. You know what is written inside? The letter read, please help your patient and tell him to take more fruits, vegetable, and water. He'll be fine. Now, so it means we really have good professionals. We have the best in the world, okay? But we still have room to improve. I think the major problem is in equipment, facilities. We lack that.
All right. But now let's look at social media, because obviously this internet also includes social media and the like. So now, how has social media, evolved into a form of parallel healthcare system for Nigerians to just go to? We also have some influencers, some other medical personnel on the internet who offer these prescriptions and treatments to people who post online. So let's look at social media as a whole. How
all right. Social media include maybe Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, all those things. Yes. Beautiful. Like I said, telemedicine is a standard method, okay, when it is well structured. All right. But in Nigeria, we don't have that kind of a single policy on that. Now, but telemedicine works properly very well. For instance, let me use WhatsApp as an example. Assuming because in medicine, one aspect of medicine that is very important is your medical history. So if I have a doctor and he's my doctor and he knows my history, and maybe I have a sickness that requires I should be taking medications often. So he knows my history. And maybe I have a little crisis, I can call him and tell him, look, he definitely will ask me some questions. Have you taken your medication? He knows me. Remember, he knows me. I'm not a stranger. He knows my history. Have you taken your medication? Have you done this? Have you done that? How are you feeling? This and that. Now, he can just right there on the call and tell me the next things to do. Remember, because he knows my history. Okay? It's allowed. Understand the conditions, the circumstances where this could happen. But randomly calling a doctor who doesn't know your history, I am telling you the truth. The doctor will tell you to come to hospital. Because it's not just all about prescribing drugs. You don't know the vital signs. You've not looked at the patient physically. I have headache, I have fever. Doesn't mean anything. Fever, headache, some of those symptoms, they are just symptoms. They are signs of something deeper. Do you understand? So how can you just send a text message to, I'm even talking about sending a text message to a doctor, right? I'm not talking about random people you don't even know. It's even worse on Facebook. You are in some groups and people are posting, they have skin problem, they will just snap it and post and tell, please, what drug do I take? And everybody is a doctor right there. Everybody is prescribing drug. And some people take some of these things. Come on. We are not really helping ourselves that way. Okay. But focusing on health professionals here, there are circumstances where a doctor, do you understand, can actually tell you what to do. But the doctor must know your history. If a doctor doesn't know your history, he will not tell you to take any drug. He will tell you to go to a hospital because it's very important. Do you understand? So internet is good. It shows that, look, there is a gap. A lot of people, may not have access to healthcare, and therefore they resort to WhatsApp. Okay, they resort to internet. Google.
They will just type what they feel, and then
you actually, Google is now in the Old Testament. AI.
Yes.
Go to Meta AI. Go to ChatGPT. There are a lot of them. And you know the one funny thing about these things. If you do the right, I'm now talking about AI. If you do the right prompting, but the problem is that how many citizens know how to prompt properly? Okay. If you go to, I won't say this, I won't go for that because this is not professional. But to just go to Google and say, I have fever or headache, what do I do? Actually, Google will give you alternatives, but if you read properly, it will tell you, consult your doctor. That is the right thing to do. I wanted to talk about, AI, but if I go there, I may create more problem than solving problem. So let me not go there. But the truth of the matter is that self-medication asking for prescription randomly, just using the internet to treat yourself is quackery. You are endangering your health, you are increasing your problem, you're not solving your problem. At the end, you will spend more. You will spend more. You say you don't have money, but at the end, you are spending more. So it doesn't make sense.
So now let's look at the dangers of, subscribing to these internet or relying on these unverified internet prescriptions. Now, would you say there are any pros to this in any way? Like, let's look at the pros and the cons, of relying on unverified internet prescriptions.
You are now very specific internet prescriptions, and you are asking specifically to, when these things come to the public, not the professionals. Okay, I don't think there is any advantage. I don't think so. There is none, because you are asking a random person who is. You know what it means to be a health professional? To be a doctor, you spend 6 years in the university, 1 year house job, 1 year NYSC. How many years? 8 years before you can do general practice. For a pharmacist, minimum of 5 years, 1 year internship, 1 year NYSC. How many years? For a medical lab scientist, 5 years in the university, 1 year internship, 1 year NYSC, and you can practice. And suddenly somebody who have not had even one month's training, you are just asking randomly, because the person went to hospital and got some drugs because he told the doctor he had headache, and he didn't know whatever. He didn't tell you the full gist of the conversation he had with the doctor, and prescribed some drugs, and now because you have headache, you still go and take the same drug. My friend, there's no advantage. There's no advantage. But if we are talking about, health professionals, for instance, calling a doctor on phone, I am telling you, the doctor will tell you what to do. Whatever he tells you to do, do it. If it is a health emergency, serious health emergency, he will ask you some very important questions. At least keep you alive and now tell you to find your way to any healthcare center around. Anyone is better than self-prescription. Anyone is better than going to the internet to Google, I have headache. No, is better. It's quite better. So to me, generally, there is no advantage of seeking.
Let's look at the cons now so that people can know what the disadvantages are exactly, explicitly. Let them know.
You are endangering your health, number one. Number two, you will eventually spend more money. Number three, you are, there is what we call I'm being specific right now, what we call anti-malaria resistance or antibiotics resistance, So you are putting your body in a state where when you need, for instance, an anti-malaria, you take, it will not work. Because randomly you have been taking malaria drugs, thinking every fever is a malaria. So you are endangering your health. You are making your body to adapt to so much drug that drugs are no longer working. And you say that all these things are fake. My friend, they are not fake. You caused it. Now, looking at the economic side of it, you are spending more money. Okay? The money that you are supposed to use to eat, you are spending it. You first of all spent a lot on the wrong drugs. And later you still spend on the right ones. It doesn't make sense. You understand? And so I think I may not have exhausted all the disadvantages, but these are fundamental, these are basics.
Yes. So now, what does this have to say about, our health system in Nigeria, the credibility and the accessibility of, Nigeria's healthcare institutions, the fact that people are now relying on online rather than going to the hospital?
Like I said, it's perception, ignorance. That's yes, poverty is playing a major role, okay? But ignorance is number one. That's my own opinion. Ignorance is number one. Because if not ignorance, why would somebody like to take something that will kill him tomorrow? Okay? So we need to first of all, we need a lot of put more effort in our healthcare. The truth is this: most people in rural areas don't have access to quality healthcare because our primary healthcare system are not working. I can tell you that for sure. Do you know that somebody who, has malaria or who is having some malaria symptoms has no business to do with tertiary institutions, health? I'm telling you, you don't have no business to go to, let me be specific, go to UNTH. You actually don't have any business to go to UNTH or go to teaching hospitals. No. Those are the things that primary healthcare, facilities should take care of. They should be in our neighborhoods, in our wards, but they are not there.
Yes, yes. All right, we have actually run out of time because I wanted to ask some questions concerning traditional medicine as well and the role, it plays in all of this. But because of time, we'll just end it here. Maybe some other time we can also, go further on this conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Mazi Ahubaleze Obidigbo. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure being here.
All right, and we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.